Good to go.
All right, guys, welcome in to a week 3 edition of the Fourth and One podcast. I'm your host, Coach Trey, and my co-host over here, Rusey Badass. Obviously, you can see my dog is up over 10 and a half units, which look, we've been friends for a long time. I think this is kind of one of, knock on wood right here, nice IKEA wood down here. Some real heater going on, y'all. Honestly, so usually we kind of like talk about these things and like get these plays out and then kind of go back and forth. Hey man, like pick a hole in it. Please like make this not be as good as I think it is. And I don't even want to tell him anything because he's just putting it out. Like it's a Death Star of just Russo's face right
Dude, you
now.
like that, dude? You like that?
So look, to not bury the lead, like what was it that you were, the most confident in last week that you feel even better about going in? Have you shifted your opinions on something after last week? Like after another week of, digesting some information, like what do you think?
Dude, yeah, man. To be honest, it would be so many more units if I didn't put money on two things: LSU week 1 and Israel Adesanya. As a non college football play. So it's just been one of those heaters, man. I've really been enjoying it. I feel like I'm seeing things correctly. Uh, and I said in week 1, my live plays seem to be the best right now. So I got to post some of my live plays on Twitter. We called the Texas A&M L. We called them week 1.
Bing.
Oh yeah, called them week 1 winning and covering. Called them week 2 losing. Ole Miss with the craziest backdoor cover ever last week. I'm convinced Lane Kiffin bets on his teams.
I know.
Probably legally, but because dude, the way he was going ape shit. Because we have to think. I think the spread was what 6 or 7.5 before the quarterback for Tulane was ruled out. So and then it got moved to 12.5. So I betted on 12.5, and they were. It was a tight cover spot for a couple of minutes, and then they got this fumble pick six kind of deal, scoop and score, and Lane was going ape shit, dude. He was loving it. So I don't know, but I'm just seeing things right now, man. That's how it is. You have in betting, you have streaks, you have slumps.
So because you kind of got into it, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about something that I noticed. So candidly, I was at, obviously most of you already know that I was actually at the LSU Florida State game week 1. There's no secrets about that. Obviously, we really wanted to be ear to ground on that. I have some audio files that I'm still trying to work a nice way to kind of get them into the pod. I will actually wait to drop those though, because I think that you'll find that the confidence of Florida State is actually going to play for a pretty long time here in the season. I don't think that that's going to fall on deaf ears. But because you just brought them up, the one thing that I did notice about Ole Miss was that they struggled to do the easy stuff right and did some of the difficult things down the stretch of the game and kind of pulled away. You can say all day, and I get it. It's the easiest thing to say. You could say all day, QB wasn't playing, injury, Tulane should have had it. Like I get that, but like my disposition with Ole Miss is I've noticed with Lane that he likes to try to win games in different ways. And the reason for that is because he has such a broad imagination for how to win that sometimes he gets too caught up in the moment of trying not to give too much away for the next coming game. Like he'll go into the game and he'll go, we're running the ball for 300 yards. We're going to score 5 touchdowns, and you're not going to throw more than 7 pass concepts. We're just going to run this route tree, and we're going to try to win by 7. Like I know that that's not what he says because no rational coach as successful as him would do that, but that's how it seems. And they couldn't get a push on Tulane. And we're talking about like Conference USA. And again, like let's not muddy the water on a Conference USA team, but brother, we're call it 3 weeks in, and in Tulane this year having a struggle getting a push off of. Now, granted, LSU had trouble getting a push off at Grambling State. So for about 15 minutes, everybody in Louisiana was kind of feeling weird for a second. But look, so tell me what you saw. If you watched it as diligently as I think that you did, what do you think about this Ole Miss team like right now?
I would have to disagree as far as Tulane. I think Tulane's a hell of a ball club.
I agree. I agree.
So I think what you saw is Ole Miss underestimated them,
Yep.
and
Didn't have
I
Michael Pratt, Russo. I mean,
yeah
Jesus Christ.
yeah I think they definitely underestimated them. I think even if they would have played with Pratt, I don't know if that changes the outcome. It might look differently, but I 100% agree on the Lane Kiffin stuff. I was the biggest advocate for him coming to LSU. Now, not saying that Brian Kelly was not who I wanted. Lane Kiffin is just a guy I can relate to, that a lot of people our age can relate to. He's a degenerate. He is. He's so fun.
Hilarious.
He's fun. He's hilarious. And you're right. I mean, who knows what the heck like how he's going to scheme things. I would not doubt it in the world. But like I said, I think he's probably legally betting on his team without actually doing it. He's such a fun guy. It's hard not to pull for him. I hate playing them as an LSU fan. This goes into my next point. I think Ole Miss has a chance to win the SEC West. It's wide open after last week. Alabama lost already. This is the earliest they've lost in a decade at least, maybe a decade and a half. Since the Nick Saban era, week 2. Am I forgetting one?
No, I was trying to remember one, but go ahead. I'll let you finish your point.
Yeah,
I do want to.
So it's wide open, and I was watching an article, or I was reading an article where they were talking about how power has shifted from Alabama and what's causing that. And I think the obvious, easiest answer is NIL, right? Because that's opened the door to a lot of different avenues for these players. At the same time, I personally think it's the transfer portal and the lack of patience. I think where you see Bama struggling now is their depth. They had 5-star guys on the bench every year. I mean, just think about the last 5 or 6 years in that team and just their wide receiver room. I mean, they were cycling pros out there. Devontae Smith was not playing as many minutes when, say, Judy was there, or I can't even think of the hierarchy of when these guys graduated. There's no lack of patience anymore. 5-star guys are going to play elsewhere, like Colorado, like Tennessee, like these smaller schools that maybe aren't notorious for winning as much. And I think that's where the problem is in the transfer portal, the lack of maybe penalties for transferring whenever you want. I think that's the big reason. NIL, sure, definitely plays a big deal into it, but I think we overlook the lack of patience that a lot of people have when, like when Patrick Peterson, I think I forgot the order of that, but I think someone good for LSU was on the bench, didn't even play. But they said they had to earn those reps. They wanted to learn behind guys like Patrick Peterson on defense, the guys that had really good experience that were going to go pro and get those licks in. So I think that's where the big difference is. And I just wanted to get your thought. I think that's where the power is shifting in all of college football and maybe even Georgia. I'm not really sure. Georgia has not looked as big of a powerhouse. They haven't played anyone yet, obviously, but you're starting to see it all around the country. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yes, yeah. So I actually, while you were going through that, I was doing 2 things at once. That's why I'm so good in sales. But the point you made plays right into how well this is going to come out. If you had to guess, just guess a year of the last time Alabama lost a week 2 game. Give me a year.
I don't think it was during the Saban era.
You're right.
Probably like early 2000s.
2003.
Yeah.
2003, they lost to Oklahoma in that week 2, and they literally, like, when I say like literally lost, I mean it was like a touchdown. 13-20. Oklahoma was ranked number 1 that year at the time. And that year they played number 1 Oklahoma, 9 Arkansas, 11 Georgia, 22 Tennessee. People forget like just how closely removed we are from Arkansas being a dominant force. Now look, so here as to the power shift thing, look, I'm with you. Save me the Nick Saban's done stuff. Like save me that, because it's not just because he was on TV today, like laughing about it and like laughing it off and saying how ridiculous it is. He's like, people have been saying for 5 years that I'm done. I get it. Nick Saban's not going anywhere, because if you've ever listened to his speeches, if you ever listened to the man talk, if you ever met the man, I've never met him, so please don't mistake that I have. He's incapable of just sitting aside and not being a part of a team. He's always talked about how he's been a part of a team ever since he's been part of Little League Baseball. So this whole power shift thing is something that he's not really willing to just give up without trying to figure out first. And I think this is going to be the first real year outside of last year, because you can make a case that last year was probably like the interim year, in which this could be the first real year that he just may not have the pieces to figure it out. You had the pieces to figure it out last year because you were in 5 close games and you ended up winning 3 of them. What if you ended up losing 3 of them?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like we've talked about that before. Like as much as Alabama did, like they were literally 2 plays away. They were a doink in a missed extra 2-point conversion away from being undefeated, but you're also that many close plays away from having 4 or 5 losses. So the power shift to me is more along the lines of other teams having the same pecking order of resources as Alabama when it comes to the transfer portal, because you literally can only have so many kids. Like you can only take so many of them. And Nick is not afraid of getting them. Who was the best player on their team last year? His name wasn't Bryce Young.
Will Anderson.
Other than him.
On Alabama?
Who ran the ball for him?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Where'd he come from?
Pittsburgh?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. It was a gold school.
Everybody was recruiting him in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia Tech gave him whatever they wanted to give him, ended up going there. He's not afraid to go and get these players. He goes out and gets Eli Ricks. He goes and gets Jahmyr Gibbs. Great. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes and gets Henry To'oTo'o. Like he's not afraid to go and get him. Tried to get Kayshon Boutte. Tried to get Garrett Nussmeier. So he's trying to play the game. They're just not panning out. You know the difference?
I agree. Yeah.
The difference, if we're going to talk about the power shift, Clemson, who won't do it. So that is more of my point, more than Nick has done. Nick can't do it. I'm sitting here telling you Nick Saban is worth a touchdown minimum in any football game that he's in. I don't care that he doesn't have the right pieces. You're gonna get your Derrick Henry looking quarterback that they have right now to win games, and they can never go to Tyler Buckner. They can never go to anybody else on that team. Their punter can be the quarterback. Nick Saban will find a way to win the game. Dabo, on the other hand, doesn't even want to be any part of it. So if you want to give me a percentage of how much crap you're in, give me Dabo like 85, Nick 30. Because Nick will find a way to adjust and pivot. When everyone went to the spread, Nick went to the spread. When the NIL came, Nick was ponying up with the money. They already had it. But now it's in the light now. So the difference that you're now seeing is with these other teams is the Big 12, is the ACC coming along. Look at Florida State. Look at Texas, Colorado. Like where is that coming from? That is transfer portal. That's not like just a coaching thing. You're telling me Deion Sanders is better than Nick Saban, or do they just get good players on a crap team?
I am for it though.
Me too. Dude.
I love this. This has been so much stuff happening the first couple of weeks. Now, granted, we do have a very weak schedule this weekend. That's kind of something I wish they would work on. I don't know how that pans out. You have 15? You have like 14 weeks, and you have one extremely weak one. I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think Saban is definitely worth a touchdown, and if he makes it to the playoffs or a national championship game, one team that I would not want to play is his coach team, because they could easily win one game when it matters. So, But yeah, Ole Miss is a sleeper, dude. I've been on that since the beginning. I didn't think it would be this live this early. I thought Bama was going to be strong. I thought LSU was going to be strong. We're still very early on. And let's see, dude. I'm excited. There's a lot of teams in the SEC West that have lost already, outside of Ole Miss. So
Sure. And I think you're right about that, Russo. But if you so I'm going to ask it this way before I get into this point right now. And if you can't, I'll do it. But I want you to name me right now 1 to 5 top conferences in college football. Who's number one?
right now, at this very second,
Right now in this very second.
fudge.
See what I'm saying?
One like top heavy or just the whole conference?
Don't just give me them as a rank just because the team is ranked or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like give me like it's got to have a few teams in it. Give me
I'd say the
strength.
SEC. The SEC.
SEC number one. Who's number two?
The ACC.
Number three?
I mean, just because of Michigan, I'd probably say the Big Ten
Okay.
and Penn State. Um, Pac-12 is number one.
Kev's up too.
But I can listen to that. I'm not mad. It's just it's tough to answer that question. I mean, especially now. I mean, it was probably unanimous for the last decade, right? I mean, I love it. I love it. Now our legitimate arguments are made. I mean, the Pac-12 has three of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams. And that's just the top three. And that's something that the SEC has never really had, to be fair, outside of a couple of gems like Joe Burrow and whatnot. But yeah, you can make an argument that they can be ranked all in different ways. So I 100% support that. I mean, you can't. I'm not going to argue it. But the SEC right now, I think they're overestimating teams, especially the non-conference plays, the non-conference games. So I love it. I'm here for all of that, and yeah, the Pac-12 can definitely be argued as number one team. I'm not arguing against it. ACC, Florida State is probably the best team in the ACC, right? I mean, Miami's okay. That their win over Texas A&M was impressive, but it's not shocking coming from people that have such opinions like we do of Texas A&M. So it is what it is.
I was trying to find one where you can literally like filter it. I have to do it another time. So if you wanted me to do it today, I would listen to Pac-12 being top three though, because how many teams right now today? Give me 5 teams that are going to beat USC right now today.
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe. I haven't seen enough from them yet.
Florida State.
Florida State. I mean, I'd even argue Alabama, Texas.
Okay. So the fact that you had to think about the 5th, 6th one tells me that Pac-12 is not bad. Now,
yeah,
their defense is unbelievably horrible. So this is status quo. However, you've now got another contender in the fight. You've still got Oregon, who's nice, who, by the way, plays Colorado next week.
14 and a half points.
Let me ruin everybody's understanding. If you and I can make it happen, we're watching that game together.
I'm free, man. I'm free up until I think exactly a month or a month and a half from now. We've got a little friends night out at the bar. Maybe we can, even for that night, we can have a game on, and that might be dangerous with all of our friends around, but
right.
being
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'd love to watch that game. You know how big of a fan I am of Colorado. I'm hoping that they're going to hit that 3.5 mark. I feel pretty good being 2-0 now with it, but I will say this: I think the blueprint's out. I think the blueprint's out. Their offensive line is poor. They cannot handle a blitz. And Sanders at quarterback looks like Joe Burrow when he has an open pocket. But my God, when he gets blitzed, it is not good. It's like Jared Lee from the old days, just I'm just making a joke, obviously, but I there was a lot in that first half where I was concerned. I was like, wow. And Vegas had a lot of money on that game. I heard there were millions upon millions of dollars on that game. Mainly, I think 95 to 96% of them were on Colorado. So Vegas got their ass kicked last week. But yeah, I think the blueprint's out, and teams with good talent are going to expose that. They're going to consistently blitz, and I have a bad feeling about some of those big games they play. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's just what I noticed from a mid Big Ten team. So we kept the receipts. I love it, dude. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can we get Matt? Can we both get like we kept the receipts t-shirt? Like, can somebody in the chat, like somebody that watches us, like gift us some tees? Because, bro, the fact that I went away from what I usually do, because I am forever and always been I have been the I trust the coach guy. I trust the hype guy. You know me, dude. I love DBs. I love whenever we smack talk. Like, I love receivers. Like, I love the back and forth. So for me, Deion's hysterical. Does he go overboard and make it a little bit too much sometimes? Yeah, but dude, it's college football. He's having fun. This dude's in a hoodie, slides, and a cowboy hat. Like sitting on a throne for turnovers. Like, give me all of that. The fact that I ever doubted him is so against me and so just grained to the numbers that it's embarrassing, because I love this team. And if you could make me get in, and if you like lock me in a room and make me have like truth serum injected into my veins, I would take Colorado today to be in a knockdown drag out with Oregon and USC. I think they beat Utah. I think they beat everybody on that side of the hemisphere, that side of the United States. It would be close right now with Oregon and USC. But here's the best part, Russo. We're going to find out in week 4. Like, we're going to see where they're at. You're worried about them getting to 4 games, bro. They are going to drum my win total over. Like, they are going to drum Colorado State this week, because everyone is determined to piss this guy off. Talking about grown-ups take their glasses off and their hats off when they talk to each other. Bro, why are people trying to piss this man off? Like, because he just put it on Twitter. He was like, at first it was going to be a good game. Now it's personal. Like, he is literally going to destroy them. So with the one play I will give you on the show, give me Colorado in the 23.5. If you want to buy it down to 21 and take the minus 200 and parlay it with a Shadur Sanders anytime, that'll put you at plus 190. Do it. Give me that play all day, dude, because I love this team. I love their moxie. I know they can't handle a blitz, but it doesn't matter if you're throwing it for 450. Like, give it to me.
No, yeah, and I 100% agree with that. I'm taking them too, especially after the shit talking from the other coach. I would not be shocked if they put up a clean 60 points.
They're going to try.
I did leave out, and I'm getting chewed out on the side for it. My buddy's team, my buddy Snee,
oh, come on.
Texas was good. He was not happy with no real recognition towards them. I didn't watch. I watched as I was drinking at a wedding on a phone, so I didn't have the best perspective. But from what I watched, they were damn good. And we've been hit or miss with Texas. I think the expectations have been hit or miss with them. I'm happy. they beat Bama. They deserve that win. They went on the road and did the damn thing, and good for them. So hopefully they don't blow it against a mid Big 12 team, but we move on. Congratulations to Snee. It was on his birthday. Happy 30th to him. Colorado, give me the points too. I actually have an interesting angle on that game. I'm taking the over, I believe it was 41.5 on the team total. Let me go pull it up real quick because I wasn't prepared to talk about it this early. But that's I'm only going to give like one big parlay, and do what you want with these guys. You can play all my straight bet. You can play them all straight. You can parlay them. Do what you want with them, man. I like playing parlays. I just think it's more of a fun thing to do. I like sweating, and sure, it's not the smartest thing ever from a betting perspective, but it's worked so far. So yeah. My
I mean,
FanDuel is giving me some
if we're
issues
being
here.
honest, Rich homie, we Texas should have won the game last year. Like
Yeah.
the Bryce Young miracle throw was saved from the no holding call.
No, yeah,
Say whatever you want to say, dude, but they should have won it last year. They didn't. So what? The retribution came this year whenever they won for 4 quarters. They put them in a headlock and slapped them in the mouth. Like that was not
yeah.
a fluke. If they played 10 times, Texas probably wins 7 times, and they probably have that outcome probably 5 times.
No,
Like
yeah.
that is
Agreed.
a good game plan that they did. They threw the ball well. They had some pretty big holes that I think a better passing attack could go up to. Like, what do you do against Texas Tech? Like, does Oklahoma maybe try to make a push? Does TCU get in a rock fight, make you have some turnovers? I mean, that game could be in the freaking 70s for all I know. But hats off to Texas. Hats off to Snead for being a fossil. I will also apologize that apparently I called I called it the wrong pass for the Florida State and LSU. I wasn't paying attention because again I was at the game and also drunk. So it was a wheel route, in fact. So apparently I don't know anything. So I guess I should probably put the headset and the cleats and the khakis ran away. But look, great game. So go ahead and get to
yeah, 41.5 was the number on the Colorado team total. I don't know how much that's gone up since the shit talking happened. All I know is this. They're going to be giving a shit in the fourth quarter. They're not going to lay off the gas. So that's hopefully they don't struggle early on. They put up maybe 4 touchdowns in the first half, and I think we stroll in the second half. And I think it's gonna get dirty in that second half. I think just based on what I've watched so far and all that stuff. So that's on my card. I guess I'll go through a couple more plays on my card and go back to you. And all of my plays are parlayed in one right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's 6 legs right now. I'll just go over a few of them and I'll pass it over to you if you have anything else, and then come back to me. I've got we got an early 11 o'clock game for LSU. I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr. over 56.5 yards. I think he's been Jaden Daniels' most reliable target so far this season, and that's crazy when you have a guy of the caliber of Malik Neighbors on the team. I think he's averaging over 70 a game so far. Actually, I think it's probably more than that. I need to go double check those facts, but he's had a shit ton of yards so far. He's getting a lot of targets. That's the big thing. I thought Malik was going to get those sizable targets. I mean, he's getting at least 8 to 9 a game. Sure, one was against Grambling, and sure, one was a last-second touchdown that was, when Florida State didn't really give a crap about the yards, but still, just based on the target volume he's seen, 56.5 should not be a problem for Brian Thomas. So I'm going with him. He made the card minus 114. Ches Malusi from Wisconsin. He is actually the backup to Braylon Allen, who has not been having a great year, and he's actually out-rushing Braylon Allen right now. So I like him to score a touchdown at minus 170. He's got one more touchdown this year. He's a more of a stocky goal line back, but he was good last year. He's cutting into his production, to Allen's production time this year. So Ches Malusi touchdown, that's on the card as well. So that's 3 of my 6. I'll push it back to you if you want to go through anything else, maybe, and I'll come back to my
other. 2? I've got Brian Thomas Jr. and Ches. Who's the third one?
Oh, the third was Colorado, 41.5 over.
Colorado in the 41.5. So I'll just real quick on Malik since you brought him up. Malik, fantastic talent. The talent's there, man. You just haven't seen the production. And I'm not telling you it's not going to come. I'm not telling you can't do it. A lot of zone coverage from Mississippi State. They like to run the ball, and I think they're trying to do the bend but don't break, because I think Coach thinks that they're good, and a lot of times they have more confidence in themselves than obviously we would as not being the coach of the freaking team. But a lot of it's like the way the players are talking about it, both sides. You listen to some of their interviews, it sounds like they're expecting a lot of zone and a lot of under routes. So this could be a pass out of the backfield, tight end, Malik Neighbors, maybe like an Aaron Anderson out of
Yeah.
the slot kind of game. Or we were playing, we were playing football last night, like where you can find soft zone coverage.
Yeah.
I think Brian Thomas Jr. has the frame to be wonderful. However, the drops have to stop. I cannot handle the drops, dude. Like we've seen, it's been Kyron Lacy, bless his heart, has had the drops upon drops, but they do keep running him out there, and he even catches a touchdown and bobbles it. So it's and I get it, and I'm
I
not
did see
saying
that.
I'm
I
not
watched the highlights for the first time last night.
and I'm not trying to say that that I could do any better. Like clearly that's not what I'm saying, but I have to be objective in that the drops have to stop. You have to involve the offense. Like I cannot believe that where they were on offense at the end of the year, going down the field, Jaden Daniels going through actual progressions, rolling out, getting to it, going off of play action, going to zone read, and now you're going back to it and trying to make him stay in the pocket. It's like watching Jalen Milrow trying to stay in the pocket. They're not comfortable with it. Like stop making them do it. Like let him go. So and on the other side of the ball, just because we're talking about it, because this is what all I wanted to talk about. Where is the tenacity on defense with this team? Like if you're talking about like LSU and the points, and if you're going to go one way or the other, I'm going to have an opinion on this game by kickoff, but I'm going to wait because I think the points are going to let them run, dude. Matt House has absolutely no reason to not just let the dogs go. Okay, like you can look at Harold Perkins on the sideline; he wants to go. Like you let them go. And the exact same thing can be true for the offense. However, I think the offense is going to get better. The defense just needs some work, man. But if you wanted me to have a player prop from that game, if you want to give you an early line, I would probably pick your favorite running back. But I would almost want to see what a Caleb Jackson anytime looks like. I would almost want to see what a Caleb Jackson anytime looks like. And if you really wanted me to be completely frank with you, I wouldn't hate a Jaden Daniels anytime, because I think that when you want to win a game and you need to win a game in a weird setting, cowbells, it's an early game, dude. Maybe the safe pick is Logan Diggs, but if you want me to give you an early pick, either Logan Diggs or Caleb Jackson anytime, and maybe
No line on Jackson on FanDuel. I have not checked.
What about Logan Diggs?
He is the favorite running back.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
He's tied with Josh Williams, and I'll say this: this was I was at a party during that game. I had Josh Williams' first team touchdown in that Florida State game, and man, it set up perfectly. First down and goal from the 1 or 2.
Stop.
I wanted to cry because it was juicy eyes, and I did this with John Emery last year. They run certain guys out there on goal line, and FanDuel doesn't account for it. They just account for who's the best running back on the team, who gets the most production. But there's certain schemes that they run, and John Emery was always a low-value play. So
what's his anytime? Because he's back this week.
I didn't see his name on here either. So I'd have to go check. I'll go give a quick look at DraftKings while we're here.
Last but not least, because this is going to be the last point that I want to make, because I can't not talk about this. This has been a game that has been owned by one team. Florida, Tennessee, 6.5. Who you got? It's at Florida.
That's not one of those Jacksonville games, or is that Georgia?
That is Georgia. By the way, it took Tennessee's team last year to win by 5.
I have a play on this game that I was going to talk about.
Me too.
It was a player. I didn't have necessarily an opinion. I was thinking about it.
It's tough.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I have no idea. I can't answer that right now.
I know.
The play I had, and this is my fourth on my card, is Graham Mertz over 212.5 passing. He in that Utah game, he threw for over 300, and I had his under, and he busted one of my parlays up. He's got 560 plus yards this year so far. He is not at Wisconsin anymore, boys. He is at an SEC school, and I think those lines that he's getting are relatively low. So 212.5, I feel very confident about that. Uh, so yeah, I I don't I have no idea. I didn't like the way Florida looked week 1. I didn't like the way Tennessee looked week 2.
dude.
So I mean, that's
Dude,
that's a tough one.
it's really hard for me because
Ooh, Caleb Jackson is on DraftKings, by the way. 290.
that's it.
John Emery. No John Emery.
It'll be up by Saturday morning. Is there anything else that you want to get to? Because the last, and I promise this is my last thing is thank you guys so much for the feedback. I know obviously some of us, most of the time get this kind of feedback from like our friends, our family, like the personal. Slowly but surely we're growing this brand. Slowly but surely we'll get better with the social media and as far as like how we, come to you guys with some stuff. But the one thing that I want to, really staple home with that is that this takes such an enormous amount of like not only enjoyment but passion. But he and I look forward to doing this. We don't care if it reaches 1 million people or 8 people. We will not ever stop loving college football. And I promise that the day we try to make you put money on picks that we wouldn't put our own money on is the day we won't do the show anymore. This is a for the brand, literally for the brand show. So I'm just happy to be here, man. And I might put a couple of those. We saved the receipt shirts in the shopping cart because those are tough.
We might have to get drunk one night, maybe that winter night, and maybe get some merch going, dude. Some sweatshirts for the winter season coming up. Yeah, but no, dude, I love it. It's been fun. It's obviously much more fun when you're winning. So hopefully we keep that going. It's very tough, because a lot of betting people on social media and podcasts are always so like strict and not fun. With the exception of a few on TikTok, but dude, parlays are just fun, man. Like every single person says parlays suck. They're not smart, and sure, whatever, but they're just so fun just to put out some sweats. And when they hit, there's no better feeling. So I love doing this, man. College football, especially, like pro is obviously fun too, but college football, it's so fun, especially player props. Now that we've evolved to that in 2023, just being able to be a part of, a player. I mean, obviously, I've been riding DJ Ukulele for the last 2 weeks, considering doing it again for his rush touchdown. So it gives you also an outlet to keep up with how someone's doing that you wouldn't normally do. So yeah, that's. I have 2 more plays I'll get to real quick. Just to add, I've got a Brock Bowers anytime touchdown. He has had a very soft start to the year. I don't know if he got hurt in that second game or not, but he did not get a lot of looks, and he's only had 1 rush touchdown. So not looking good in the future with him when he had 7 receiving touchdowns there. And let me see. And one more, the last one on my card is Chandler Morris from TCU, the quarterback, over 272.5. They are playing Houston. That is going to be a barn burner of a game. We know TCU has a great offense. We know Houston has a great offense. We both know they have sus defenses. The ball will be flying that game. He's averaging, I want to say 280 a game right now. I don't see any problem with that. All 6 of those together go for about 28.70 on the odds. So if you want to parlay them all, do it. If you want to round robin, if you want to play them straight, that's one of my plays. I've got a bunch coming on the Twitter. Definitely, and even Trey, because Trey had a little engagement with his deer camp on Saturday morning and didn't see my Twitter plays, and could have made some more money. So I was like, dude, well, I posted them to the Twitter. So sure, I should have texted you that. I usually text you when I make a bet. So
I forgot all about the work weekend, man, and I ended up out there. I just it is what it is. But
Yeah, that's it for
but
me.
but again, guys, look, we absolutely love the feedback. Please get to us in the DMs because you know how we also keep the receipts. Absolutely incredible episode. Super pumped for the weekend. Light slate, but some of the important games that we'll get to are going to give us a better prediction for the next week. Whenever we do have some pretty heavy hitters next week. So with that, we'll catch you guys in the next time. Hashtag Travis Hunter for Heisman. Look, I'm all about it because me and you are going to Ruth Chris if you do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it for me, y'all. Till next week.